Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the iBug Buzz number 649. This is the iBug Buzz for Monday, September 2nd of 2024. Can you believe that it is September already? The year is flying by. I am Maria, and I will be facilitating the conference tonight. This is an open forum for anyone with questions or issues with their iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, or HomePod. For anyone who is desiring to become more proficient in using the accessibility features of these iDevices, we focus here on the use of VoiceOver. And of course, we also cover the use of various accessories with these iDevices such as headphones, speakers, braille displays, batteries, and battery packs, power banks, and so on. So welcome to everyone who has joined in tonight and to those who are listening to this conference later via the recorded playback option. This is one of many events that we have going on. And this week we have several other events which you may be interested in attending. So for this week, beginning tomorrow, we've got our Mac Buzz, and all the times that I'm going to be listing are in Central Time. We've got our Mac Buzz tomorrow, September 3rd at 5 to 6 p.m. Central Time. So that's like this call again, another Q&A help session, but this one's focused on Macs. So with anyone with Mac OS and Mac hardware accessibility questions or issues, and that is facilitated by Herbie. And then on Thursday, we've got one of our social events. This is our iBug Trekkie Talk, and this is happening this Thursday, September 5th at from 8 to 9:30 p.m. Central. This time we're going to be discussing the Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Season 1, Episodes 21 and 22. And so this is an event where we pre-watch the episodes and then we meet to discuss them. And this is facilitated by Kenny and Jody. And everyone, of course, including non-Trekkies, everyone is welcome to participate. And then moving into this weekend, this upcoming Saturday, September 7th, from 8 to 10 p.m. Central Time, we have our iBug Unplugged. And this week's iBug Unplugged theme is A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the... So the iBug Unplugged is an opportunity for us to discuss miscellaneous topics that are of a non-technological nature. And so this time we're going to be talking about those embarrassing moments that probably weren't so funny when they were happening, but now remembering them makes us laugh and gives us some good memories. So whether you've gotten into a wrong car and you haven't realized it until you started a conversation with the driver, or maybe you sat at the wrong table in a restaurant, got lost in a public restroom, whatever it may be, maybe you prepared some dish and you used the wrong ingredient, but you didn't realize it until you finished it and tasted it. So we've got a lot of such moments, I'm sure, that have happened to us. And so come tell us about it and share this Saturday. And this is going to be facilitated by Vincent this month. Then we have this Sunday, we've got the iBug Cafe. This is the 8th of Sunday, September 8th from 4 to 5:30 p.m. Central. And this is a deep dive that covers, and this week is going to cover an introduction to VoiceOver on the iPhone. This is facilitated by Shri. And so even if you think you know a lot about VoiceOver and don't need the introductory stuff, you never know which new tips you're going to learn. So encourage you to tune in this Sunday for the iBug Cafe. And then next week on September 10th from 5 to 6 p.m. we've got the iBug Mini Buzz. So that's like this, but again iOS and Apple Watch, Apple TV, iPhone, iPad, and so on. But it's an hour, so it's a mini buzz. And then we've got our Vila Book Club. That is on Thursday, September 12th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Central. And this is an opportunity for us to discuss and critique a featured book. So this month's featured reading, so you have plenty of time to read it, is called The Conviction. It's by Robert Dugoni. The number is for the NLS board service is DBC 15581. And this is about an attorney whose stepson is acted out one too many times and is sentenced to a brutal juvenile rehabilitation facility. And so this attorney has to rescue his stepson through any means, whether legal or otherwise. And it's 14 hours and 54 minutes long. So you now have plenty of time to read it in time for our Vila Book Club, not this Thursday, but next Thursday. And this will be facilitated by Sarah this month. And those are just some of our events going on, believe it or not, as we have so many going on throughout the month that we can't tell you about them all on every call. And the way that you can find out about everything that we have going on each month is to visit our website at IBUG Today. That's IBUGTODAY.org. And there you can subscribe to our mailing list to get mailings about all of our events. You can access our podcast recordings, information about our meetings, and our Jumpstart Mentoring Program and other resources. Our Jumpstart Mentoring Program is meant to help those who are new to the use of iOS devices to get up and running, to get started with the basics. So if you have just gotten your iPhone and you're feeling like maybe you want to throw it out the window, don't do so, and instead you might want to consider becoming a mentee in our iBug Jumpstart Mentoring Program to get some help to learn the basics of one of these wonderful devices and all they can do. And if you if you're comfortable with the use of your iDevice and you would like to help others to learn those really important fundamental skills and help them to increase their confidence in the use of their iOS technology, then consider becoming a mentor. And you can find both of those applications on our website, ibugtoday.org. You can also follow us on social media. We have a Facebook group to ask questions during the week. Between these calls, that's a great place to ask. And that is at facebook.com/groups/iBugToday. So the groups is plural there, facebook.com/groups/iBugToday. You can also follow us on X and on Instagram, and our username on both of those platforms to follow us at is at iBugToday. All of our conference recordings are archived not only on our website, where they can be searched by topic, but you can also find them in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the A-Lady, the ALEXA, or your favorite podcast app of choice by searching and subscribing to iBug Buzz for this call. We have podcasts as well for many of our other events as well, which you can find out about on our website. And these recordings are also available on YouTube, and you can find those by searching for and subscribing to the iBug Today channel on YouTube. And all of these events that iBug offers are completely free of charge. All of our services are free. There are no membership dues or fees. And also remember that at the end of tonight's formal program, so not after we end the recording at 9 p.m. Central Time, we will have our After Buzz segment where we can all meet and you all can have some time to discuss with each other, hang out without interference from the facilitators, where we go away and you all get to talk about anything you would like to talk about except for politics, religion, and technology. So, with all of those announcements, we will now be going around to introduce ourselves and where we are all from. And so I am Maria. Whoops, apologies. Okay, I am Maria and I am from Albany, New York.
Julie from Houston.
Hey, Julie, welcome.
Pete from Florida.
Welcome, Pete. All right. Anyone else would like to unmute and introduce themselves?
This is Brad. I'm in Dallas.
Welcome, Brad.
This is Deb from Kansas.
Welcome, Deb.
This is Herbie in Houston.
Hey, Herbie, welcome.
Shay in Seattle.
Hi, Shay, welcome.
Greg in Texas.
From Chandler.
Welcome to you both.
Janelle in Houston.
Hello, welcome to you all.
This
Kenny
is
in
Ned
Missouri.
Welcome, welcome.
Ned from Texas.
Hey, Ned, welcome.
Thank you.
Gary from Arlington Heights.
Hey, Terry.
Leslie from Arizona.
Welcome, Leslie.
This is Derek from Houston.
Hey, Derek, welcome.
Ed from Georgetown, Ontario.
Welcome, Ed.
Thank you.
Dan from Southern California.
All right, welcome to you both.
Cheryl from Ohio.
Hey, welcome. All right, anyone else?
John and Austin.
Hey, welcome to you both in Houston. All right, who else would like to say hello?
Elizabeth from Newfoundland, Canada.
Hey, welcome, Elizabeth.
This is Jody in New Hampshire with a slight correction. We're in Trekkie Talk. We're talking about Deep Space Nine Season 2, Episodes 1 and 2, The Homecoming and The Circle.
All right, welcome, Jody, and thank you for that. All right. Anyone else?
Did you hear Bridget from Atlanta?
I did now. Welcome, Miss Bridget.
Thank you.
All right.
Good evening, everyone. Marcy from Dallas.
Hey, Marcy. All right. Anyone else would like to say hello?
John from BC, Canada.
Hey, John, welcome. All right. Anyone else? All right. Well, welcome. Welcome back to you all. I don't believe do we have any first-time callers? I don't believe we do, but just in case. All right, very good. Well, welcome back to you all. So who would like to ask? It is now that time where we get to take your questions. So who would like to ask our first question of the evening? You can unmute and state your name, and I will recognize you.
This is Liz.
Liz, go ahead.
Okay, I've had a very frustrating 24 hours, and it's going to keep going for another 20 hours. I accidentally did something to make my phone go into reset mode, and I can't get my Apple ID password to work. So I'm really, really frustrated, and they put me in a timeout, I guess, until I can get it, so I can reset my password. So now I'm curious, people that have more than one device or more than one phone, do you have like two numbers, or how is everybody doing that? So like you're not lost, because I don't have access to any of my tools that I use.
All right. Anyone with two devices with some
This is Kenny.
advice? Go ahead, Kenny.
Yes, I have two different iPhones, and they have two different phone numbers with the same Apple ID. I don't know if that answers your question. And I'm curious to know, in what process are you stuck in and trying to either log in or what have you?
This is Liz.
Liz? Yes, go ahead, Liz.
I was following the steps to like restore, which then wipes your phone, and then following the process for activating my phone. When I got to the Apple ID password, it wouldn't take it. So I bypassed that and to do other ways to identify me. And the lock code that I put in my phone, it wouldn't take that. It wouldn't take the previous passcode. I called accessibility, and I'm just locked out now until tomorrow, 20 hours from now.
All right.
This
Anyone?
is Jody.
Yeah, go ahead, Jody.
Yeah, there is a security feature that will lock you out for 24 hours, and there's really not much you can do about it. Once you get your phone working again, you can go into the security settings and turn that security feature off. But meanwhile, did the Apple accessibility help you out at all?
This is Liz.
Go ahead, Liz.
I never turned that feature on. It's because it took me too many tries to type in my email since I didn't have VoiceOver or, any other assistance. So yeah, I did too many typos, and it does not like that. It didn't think I was who I was saying I was. And after I got to that point, the accessibility, nobody that you contact can help you. You got to wait that time. The first message I got was 4 to 5 days, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not waiting 4 to 5 days to get my phone back. 48 hours is long enough.
This is Jody.
Yes, go ahead, Jody.
It seems to me that if you go to apple.com, it seems to me that there is a manage your account thing there where they can assist you, and I would probably try that. I know this is Jody.
Yes, go ahead, Jody.
Yeah, I know my mother-in-law put in the wrong passcode once, and she totally locked herself out of her phone, and she contacted them. I think she might have even gone to Best Buy or something to get help, but I think there is help that's available.
All right. Go ahead, Herbie.
Yeah, I had a situation a long time ago where I locked myself out because the phone wasn't properly activated. And so I had to go to an Apple store and they were able to fix the account, though I had to go to the cell phone store to actually get the phone properly activated, but that's a whole nother thing. But yes, I was able to go to an Apple store and they were able to fix it. Now, this was back in 2017, but I don't know why it would be any different today. So that was my experience when I locked myself out.
All right. Go ahead, Terry.
There is a setting on the phone, and you can change the number of times from, I don't know if it starts at 1 or 3 up to 10 times, where you can enter in whatever security information it is that's needed. And if it gets to that 10th time, it resets your phone back to factory default, and you have
Herbie.
to wait.
Go ahead, Terry. You can finish first.
You have to wait to come back in, and because they're trying to make sure that somebody else isn't trying to steal your phone and all your information. And I don't know if that's what's happening here, or there's so many different security things nowadays. That's the whole problem. And it can be a blessing, but it can be a curse.
All right. Go ahead, Herbie.
So, Terry, what you're confusing is, and of course I could be confused on the issue too, so one of us is right. and one of us isn't. So there's, I believe, the original question was about the actual Apple ID and password, which is your actual Apple account. But what you're referring to, Terry, is the passcode that is specific to your phone, and that is actually a different thing altogether than your iCloud account. So,
All
if
right.
that makes sense.
All right.
This
Thank
is
you for
John.
that. Yes, go ahead, John.
Yes, to add on to what Herbie was saying, that yes, he is exactly right, that your Apple ID identifies yourself as an Apple user for your account, but your passcode refers to the specific device you're using. So there are Apple support pages online. So if you're locked out of your device, like the passcode, there is a support page that allows you to it explains how to go into discovery mode and to reset your passcode. But there's also a support page where I can't remember what it is. I think it's iforgot.apple.com that you just explain that, this is my Apple ID and this is what I thought the password was. Can you reset it within a certain period of time? And they'll send you a link or a code that will allow you to log in and reset your Apple ID password. But to simplify the process, if you don't like going through those Apple support pages, it would just be easier to go to a store and work with someone.
All
And
right.
then,
Oh, yes, go
sorry.
ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I also wanted to add on that if you have trouble remembering your password, there are ways like you can lock it into a note with a pin, or you can also add it to your Apple keychain. Like once you get it all sorted out, you can once you have the correct credentials, you can log into iCloud.com and then add your password to your keychain so that if you have trouble remembering it, then you can refer to it if you have another device. Like let's say you have like an iPad, you can refer to it there on the keychain. So then you can just enter it. And I think when you're setting up a device, like a new device, I think I figured this out that the voiceover rotor does let you switch your typing mode when you encounter like a typing edit field, because I think I inadvertently came across this when I was setting up a new device.
All right. Thank you for sharing all of that. Great discussion. And Liz, hopefully some of that can be of assistance for you, either the support or going to a store once you have your phone back up and running, hopefully tomorrow. Very good.
Yeah.
All right.
This is Liz again.
Sorry?
Yeah. This is Liz again.
Okay. Is this on this? Yeah.
I'm sorry, my initial question was about the two phones, why people have two phones and how they do that. Do they have two separate numbers, et cetera, et cetera?
Oh, you were just asking as a general comment, like if people have two phones, do they use them with separate numbers?
This is Brad.
Okay, go ahead, Brad.
Well, I got two phones, but the other one doesn't even have a number. It doesn't need a number. It's just unactivated, and it works off Wi-Fi. So, but other than that, it could have a number, but it doesn't matter. I open the phone and I go to my Apple ID section, and I'm signed in on it. But there's nothing on the phone that's going to tell you what your Apple ID is. You can change the Apple ID password. I meant the password. Nothing on the phone is going to tell you what your password is. You have to use some kind of technique. Maybe you write it down someplace secure, as some have suggested. Of course, in your situation, none of that's going to help you because you only have one device and you reset it. So until you get logged back in, a good rule of thumb is if you type your password in twice and you don't get it right, you stop right there and don't do anything for a couple of hours. And then you come back and try it, because what you did is, I don't know how many times, I think the limit is 3, but it'll lock you out like you're experiencing. You can either wait the 20 hours like it told you to do, but you're probably, since that's your only device and you're not signed into it, you're either going to need to go online to iCloud.com and try and, hit the forgot password button and reset it that way. or go to your Apple store. And you're in Fort Worth, right? And there's an Apple store in Fort Worth. So I don't know what else to tell you.
All right, very good. Anyone else?
This is
We'll
Kenny
just
with a
take.
comment.
All right, we'll take a couple of comments on that initial question of whether people with two phones have two different numbers. I think we have covered the topic of the password reset. Kenny, do you have any comment on that with the two devices?
Oh, well, I like having the two different numbers, but my only comment to the lady was if she goes to the App Store, make an appointment because it can be quite busy there.
All right. So just to clarify with Liz's initial question, you do have two phones with two different numbers?
That's correct. Yes.
All right.
This Marie.
All right, go ahead, Marie.
I'm pretty positive that even if you go to the Apple Store, they are not going to help you with your password. If you locked yourself out by entering it too many times, you're just going to have to wait so many hours before you can try it again.
All right.
Just the way it is.
All right. Thank you all. We're going to shift to our next question.
This is Dan with a comment.
Is it a comment that hasn't been made before on this topic?
Yes, it is.
Okay, go ahead. And then we're going to close this topic after this comment. Go ahead.
Okay, I had the same problem that this lady had where I was locked out, and I went to my local Apple store and they did help me out. They set it to the default factory settings, and then I was able to set everything up from there.
All right. Thank you, Dan. So your mileage may vary there, Liz, but hopefully between the Apple Store and the support pages, you'll be able to hopefully get up and running sooner rather than later. All right. Good discussion. Who would like to ask the next question? All right. Anyone who hasn't asked a question yet? Any new apps that you have tried or any issues that you have encountered?
This is John from BC, Canada.
Yes, go ahead, John.
This morning I was listening to Double Tap with Steven Scott and Sean Priest, and one of their listeners did a demonstration about how to use the Find My Objects feature with Seeing AI. And I was just wondering if anyone's tried it out. I'm curious to know.
All right. With Seeing AI, you said just
Seeing AI, yes,
Seeing
sorry.
it. All right, no worries. Very similar names for sure. All right. Has anyone played with the Find Objects feature in Seeing AI? All right. Well, John, maybe that'll be a good topic for you once you've played with it to tell us about how it went. Sounds like.
This is Shri.
Oh, go ahead, Shri.
So John, are you talking about where you capture an image and you navigate your finger around and then it tells you where the object is, or are you talking about something different?
This is John.
Yep, go ahead, John.
No, so it's something different. It's kind of like a low-tech version of Apple AirTags in the sense that you can scan the product with the rear camera of your phone, so it memorizes the object, and then you can kind of look for it, kind of like the NaviLens app with QR codes, in the sense that you can wave your phone around the room and then it finds it. It gives you like an audible feedback, and it tells you when you found your object. It's kind of intriguing.
This is Shri.
Go ahead, Shri.
So John, are you taking a picture of it, or what channel are you using for this?
So I'm not using it myself. One of the listeners did a demo, and when you go to the world, I think the world view, there are two.
Okay.
There are two options there. There's indoor navigation and there's Find My Objects.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So that sounds like it's a newer addition then to the World channel. All right. Very good. So just another call in case has anyone played with this feature. Have any comments?
This is Jody.
Okay, go ahead, Jody.
Is it using the near field communication feature?
This is John.
John, John, go ahead.
I don't know what technology it's using, but I just know that the way he did it was he used the rear camera of his device, and he scanned the image with his phone, so it asks you to put the rear camera really close to the phone, maybe about 2 inches away, and then you slowly move your phone away from the object, and you kind of scan it a couple of times, and then it tells you when once the object is scanned to its satisfaction, then when you're in that mode, you can use your rear camera to find the objects. So,
Oh, wow.
This is
yeah.
Pete.
All right, go ahead, Pete.
My guess is that it's not using near field communication because isn't that a chip of some sort?
This is John
Kind of
from
like
Canada.
an RFID.
Yeah.
So it's probably
Yes, go
just getting some sort of an image by scanning the object. So I guess the word of caution here is if you're going to lose something, be sure to scan it first, or you'll never
Right.
find it. Yeah.
Yeah, this is Maria.
Sounds cool though.
Yeah, I know that it absolutely. I know that the initial iteration of the World channel where there was kind of like that explore feature, I know that used the LiDAR sensors to gain that kind of more like spatial 3D type of depiction of what was in the phone's camera. So I do wonder if it is using that. Do you know, John, by any chance, like was that listener, did they specify, did they have a pro iPhone?
This is John.
Yes, go ahead.
I think it's like sorry, I couldn't remember if it was Pete or Brad, but whoever it was, I think it was what he was saying because I agree. I don't think it's NFC because NFC uses like the wireless chip technology. I think it's somehow scanning the image and remembering what the object is. I guess just like the other features where it remembers someone's face and those kinds of things.
This is Shri.
Right. Go ahead, Shri.
So, John, do you know if he actually moved that object from one place to another place? Could it find it?
Yeah. So it took multiple scans. So like I think he scanned it once in one spot, and then I think it told him like scan it again and put it in another spot so it could distinguish like not just the object but the location in that room too.
Yeah, this is Shri. And I'm just thinking because that world, what is it, the one that they came out last year with
World channel?
the indoor navigation,
Okay.
where it does scan the initial point, it scans that whole area. So, this is cool. So I didn't hear about it. So thank you.
All right. It sounds like this is a good suggestion for everyone to check out this. It's called Double Tap. You can find it in your favorite podcast app of choice and on YouTube as well. And to check out this demo. So that is definitely part of the power of this community learning, like we are doing here now as well. We're all learning so many new things.
This is John in Austin.
Yes, go ahead, John.
John, was the object something like a phone that they found?
This is John.
Yes, go ahead, John.
So he did this demonstration with a pair of headphones.
Wow.
And it's interesting because so you don't have to put in the specific model. He just put in headphones and it recognized that specific pair still.
Oh. Thank you, John.
All right,
Terrific.
very good. So I think with this, I think we will shift to the next question. And definitely, if you are interested, to check out the podcast for more information or just to try it out on the free Seeing AI app. All right, thank you for that suggestion. Who would like to ask the next question or make the next comment on a new topic?
This is Deb.
Yes, go ahead, Deb.
This question is about the Ring app on your phone for a Ring doorbell device.
Yeah.
The question is, when somebody rings the front door, how do you invoke the way to talk to them? I see how you can go to what I think it's called live view, but when you do that, my voiceover isn't reading any of the things, and I'm figuring I'm missing a step somewhere, and somebody would know.
This is Jody.
Go ahead, Jody.
Yeah, I really just got a Ring doorbell recently, and at first, you do have to figure it all out. So when somebody comes to the door, it does bring up the live view for the front door, and then you have to swipe several times, uh, and it will say microphone, but then it also says speaker. So you act.
Oh,
This is Brad.
yes, go ahead, Brad, and then I think we'll see if Jody's able to come back in.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
If you set up your Ring doorbell so that when it gets an alert, somebody rings the doorbell or there's a motion detection or something like that, you can set it up that you get a notification on your home screen or your lock screen, actually. And if you double tap that, it will go straight into it. And your microphone is on. You can hear who's at the door. You can talk to who's at the door. You don't have to even open the app and swipe around. That notification, if you have it set up, will take you straight in there. That's the easiest way to do it if you want to answer a doorbell ring quickly and talk to the person at the door. You can open the app, fumble around, go to the doorbell. Perhaps you have more than one device. You got to go to the device and open it and find that button. But if you set it up with the notification on your lock screen, you are right in like 2 seconds.
This is Greg.
Right. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah. Brad, are you talking about where you have it set up with a banner?
No, I'm talking, like I said, you have it set up and it gives you a notification, just like any other notification, text message or anything. It's on your lock screen. And you can even make it so your phone will make a special alert sound that lets you know it's the Ring doorbell. And
This
you
is
tap
John.
on it and it will open it up and if you could see out the camera. But since most of us can't see, or at least can't see well enough to utilize any of that, the microphone is on and you can hear who's there and you can talk to who's there.
All right.
This is
And
John from Canada.
okay, go ahead, John.
Yeah, just to agree with what Brad was saying, I don't remember which podcast episode it is, but I think Jonathan Mosen did a demo of this because he has one, and it's just as Brad described that you can access it right from the lock screen or even possibly from the notification center, and you go directly there. So I do apologize. I don't remember which podcast episode it is, but he did do a demo of it.
All right. And you
This
can
Marie.
search. Yep. One moment. You can search those podcasts as well on that livingblindfully.com website. So if you type in something like Ring or Ring doorbell, it should come up. Let's see. I think I heard Jody first. So let's see if you were able to come back in. Yes.
Yeah, I had to go to a different room because my Wi-Fi was going in and out. I have mine set up as a banner too, but I just got it a couple of months ago. So I'd like to find out when I do tap on the banner, I get live view, but then I still have to type to to swipe to hit microphone and then speaker. And if I don't do that, I have to hold it up to my ear and listen to it like a phone. So and I've searched all over settings and I don't see anything for turning that on. So I'd be glad to hear where you turn that notification on so that as soon as you hit the banner, you are able to talk to whoever's there without having to swipe around.
This is Deb.
All right. Let's go first. I think Marie was first, and then we'll
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, there's one other way to do it, and I don't remember setting it up, so I don't know if it was a default, but I have the Alexa devices, and when my doorbell rings, they'll say someone's at your front door, or they ring your front, and you just say at that time, talk to the front door, and it automatically shuts everything, and you just start talking to them right there over your Amazon device.
All right.
Thank you.
And all right, Deb.
So I was like Jody. I see the banner and I've tapped on it, but it still doesn't open that thing that says microphone and speaker.
The live view, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't. Well, it may open that, but VoiceOver doesn't speak those two things to me. At least I haven't been able to get it to. So I was just curious if there was another setting I was missing to get to that point.
All right. Anyone with sounds like we have a couple of people perhaps with experience with this app. Any input on settings that need to be changed?
This is John from Canada.
All right, go ahead, John.
So I can't speak to the app specifically, but regarding notifications, I know that when you set up an app, it will ask you like, allow this app to receive notifications. And then when you say yes, then by default, I think Apple sets it up so all of your notification settings are on, and then you'd have to go into settings and notifications and customize your notifications, like which ones you want off. So if you set it up for the first time, then all of the notification options should be on unless you tell it to turn them off. And some app notifications, there are two categories. There are the iOS app notifications, and then there are some that are specific to that app. Like some of them will say at the very bottom, like, I don't know, Amazon notification settings. So you may just want to review all of those settings menus and just make sure that they're set up the way you want them to be.
All right. I think so, unless anyone else have any information specifically on the Ring, on that getting that live view to automatically enable. All right. Well, then hopefully this is some help at least that your swiping has been lessened a little bit there with that notification suggestion. So good luck with using that the next time you have someone coming to your door with that Ring. All right, very good. Who would like to ask the next question? Anyone who hasn't asked a question yet?
Hi, this is Les.
Les, go ahead.
I was wondering if there's users out there that have found an Apple Watch to be useful and what items they use it for.
Right. Apple Watch
This is Herbie.
users. What did I miss? Was that Herbie? Whose name did I just hear?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead, Herbie.
So I do a rare thing that I don't know if others do on this call or not. It's called exercise. And the Apple Watch is really good for tracking that, of course. Outside of which, yes, actually, there's a lot of little uses for it. It's a great way to quickly respond to messages, for instance. Not only can you dictate, and you can even type on the screen, but there's a lot of predefined responses you can use. So a lot of people will get things like no problem or yes, no, okay, go away, things like that. It also has a built-in phone. I will tell you, there's been times when it's been useful just to answer on the watch because I need to get to a call, my phone's not nearby, or there's been some situations where I needed to talk to somebody and I also needed to use my cane. On the other hand, so things like that, you get it can do things like monitor your heart rate, blood oxygen, things like that. You can get notifications on your watch, and I find that I like that because like if I'm listening to something like say on my phone and I have it hooked up to my Bluetooth speaker, instead of the doo-doo-doo suddenly blasting out on the phone, it just is a nice little ping on my wrist instead. So it's a whole lot less intrusive. The downside is that all notifications sound the same. So, for instance, I'll give you an example. Dice World does not use the typical tritone. It uses something different. Well, it's no longer a tritone. That's right. I changed mine back. But anyway, but on the watch, it's the same tone no matter what. And so I don't know if it's a Dice World notification or my MLB notification. But you can turn off specific apps if you want. You also are stuck with the same ringtone, same text tone, things like that. And yeah, so I find it very useful for incidentals like that outside of the exercise measurements.
All right. Very good. Thank you, Herbie, for that. Anyone else have anything to add?
This is John.
Go ahead, John.
I like it for the handoff feature. So let's say you were like listening to something on your Apple Watch, you can just put your Apple Watch near your HomePod and transfer it over there, that kind of thing. You can also use it to find your watch. So let's say it's even better because if you have, let's say, an iPhone 15 Pro and an Apple Watch 9, it'll take advantage of the precision finding for the Find My feature. I like using it for unlocking a Mac that doesn't have, like, let's say you have a Mac that predates Touch ID, then you can unlock your Mac with your Apple Watch. And all the other things that Herbie already mentioned.
All right.
This is Colleen.
Good. Thank you. Helene, go ahead.
I don't wear my watch, and my kids made me buy it because I had fallen once, and there's a whole thing about, I think you fell. Do you need help? But you have to be wearing it to do that. And when I wear it, which is not often, I don't wear it because it's always talking. I'm walking, if I'm with other people, it's like speaking all the time, and I don't know how to make it quiet. Like I can with my phone, I can just do a magic tap, or I can do voice off or silent mode or whatever. How do I get the watch to shush?
This is Terry.
This is Ed.
All right. Terry, you were first.
I can maybe answer both questions. Number one, I use my watch to answer phone calls. I use it sometimes if I know that a text message is coming in, and I'm not near my phone, I will use it to find out who the text message is from, and you can answer a text on your watch. It can be a little tricky. I use it. I use it for the calendar feature. Of course, I do use it to tell time too. What a novel idea that is. I mean, and really, lots of times I will use it if there's something. I definitely use it. I unfortunately I need to use it for the ECG mode capability, which worked very well, and I can send my ECG to my doctor from my watch, and it's a good it gives the doctor a good idea of what's actually happening with your heart if it's showing an irregular heartbeat. So and the medical things that it does, I think are really good, as well as I do know for a fact that the exercise apps are really good on there. As far as how to turn your watch off so that it's not talking, you can, if your watch is set up to do it, you can triple click the crown, the round button on it, and it will turn voiceover off. There are times if I'm walking with someone sighted guide, my watch will hit the person's arm or his shirt or whatever, and set off start the watch talking. The other thing you can do is the 3-finger double tap, as you can on your phone with the later models of the watch, to just turn the speech off, not voiceover. So there's 2 ways you can accomplish that if you don't want voiceover to be talking.
All right. Thank you, Terry. I think Ed, did you have anything to add on your use cases for the Apple Watch?
This is Ed.
Yes, go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, I was going to say, I also listen to my emails when I'm sitting in the sauna on my watch, and I mean your watch is waterproof, so you don't have to worry about it getting wet, which is great. You can answer phone calls, which I do that, and the 3-finger triple tap on the crown mutes voiceover, like you were just told. But also, if you have your voiceover muted, you want to see what time it is, or ask what time it is, you can do a single tap on your crown and ask Iris what time it is, and she'll tell you.
All right.
This is Helene.
All right, go ahead, Helene.
I guess two things is when you said 3-finger triple tap, how do you use 3 fingers on a tiny crown? And did you mean touch the crown 3 times with your 1 finger?
This is Ed.
Okay, go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, I meant a single finger triple tap, and it has to be really quick, like tap, tap, tap. So.
All right, and just to clarify, I think that was a question. Is this on the crown or on the touch screen?
On the crown.
On the crown. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Very
This
good.
is Chanel.
Go ahead, Chanel.
Yeah, so there is also, so I triple click the crown does turn off voiceover, and a 3-finger double tap on the face does mute speech. But one thing that you can also do is turn off wake on wrist raise. And so there's some feature like that. I should have looked it up before I actually made a comment. But my hands are all sticky and nooky with popcorn. So anyway, but I believe it's called wake on wrist raise, and that will cut down or always on. They enabled something called always on and a watch OS a couple years ago, and that will contribute to it not talking so much.
This is Brad.
Right. Go ahead, Brad.
I think what Chanel is referring to, there's 2 things. There's wake on wrist raise, which wakes the watch up and a sighted person can see it. Okay. But I think what Chanel's talking about is within the accessibility and voiceover section of the watch app is speak on wrist raise. And that has been there since the watch was first introduced. And that's something I turned off the very first day I had the thing, because that was driving me nuts. Anytime you move, the watch started talking. And once you turn that off, it is a lot more pleasant experience to having a watch.
All right, very good. Thank you,
This is
everyone.
John.
Good discussion. All right, well, John, we'll take your comment and then we'll shift from this topic. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so the other thing I find is that when you put your palm over the face of the watch, it also like shuts it up. So if it keeps yammering on, then I just cover the watch face. And I think it was mentioned in somewhere, but I think that's how I came across it, where if I just want it to shut up, then that I found that when I put my palm over the face of the watch for a few seconds, then it just locks the screen and stops talking. But I mean, it is temporary until it has reason to talk again, but it's kind of like the equivalent to the 2-finger touch to silence voiceover temporarily.
All right. Very good. Well, thank you all. Hope blessed that helps you out in your decision as to how the watch might work for you. And Helene, hopefully that is helpful to help your watch to stop talking a bit as much. So very good. Who would like to ask the next question? We have time for a quick question before our halftime show. Who would like to ask a question? All right, someone who hasn't asked before. Yes, who is?
This is John from Canada.
Yes. Okay, go ahead, John.
So I'm pretty sure everyone remembers, but just as a reminder, since it's coming up, the Apple Glow event on Monday the 9th.
Yes, absolutely. 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. You can look up your local time based on that. And yes, the new iPhone model is widely expected to be debuted and potentially other things as well.
This is Paul.
Go ahead, Paul.
Isn't that on Tuesday the 10th?
All right. Would anyone like to?
It is Monday, September 9th.
Well, that's the first time they've done it on
10
Monday.
a.m. Pacific time.
All right. Thank you, Brad.
Okay.
And in addition to the Apple Viz website will be relaunching with its Be My Eyes partnership, and they will be having, I understand, a recap as well of that event from a voiceover perspective. All right.
This is John from Canada.
Yes, go ahead, John.
I forgot to say that if you go to the Apple website and you put your focus to where it talks about the event, there's a place where you can add it to your calendar, which is also nice.
All right. Very good. So we'll all be eagerly anticipating that. And if you do miss the event, not only can you watch it after on the Apple website, but there actually is, if you'd like to listen to it on a faster speed, there is an Apple Events podcast that you can subscribe to, and then you would receive it that way as well, the audio only. And a tip for everyone watching it live, you are able to enable audio descriptions on your platform of choice, and those can be helpful because there are videos that show up with pre-recorded content and images and things. All right, so another exciting Apple launch event coming up very soon indeed. All right, who would like to ask the next question quickly before our halftime? We do have time for another one. Before we find out about our movie, who would like to ask the next question?
This is Jody.
Go ahead, Jody.
Well, with all the changes and Apple Viz moving to Be My Eyes, and we avoided a shutdown with that, but then Jonathan Mosen is going to be closing down too.
Yes, that is correct. And I don't know whether he will be, I know he has in the past posted episodes with a panel discussion shortly after these Apple events in September, again giving a recap from a blindness perspective. So
Maria, this is Desi.
Not sure if he will be doing that this year. Or
He
this
will.
month. Go ahead, Desi.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
Okay.
he is going to do all those things, all the normal things that usually happen right after an Apple event. So,
All right.
yeah.
Very good. Then thank you, Brad. I just heard you say the same thing too. So thank you to you both for confirming that.
You're
All
welcome.
right. So lots of opportunities to find out. And of course, I'm sure we'll in here as well. We have an iBug Buzz as usual on that Monday night. So
This is Terry.
Go ahead, Terry.
He also said that though he isn't revealing what it is he's going to be switching to when he leaves, when he closes down Living Blindfully, he assured us that this new thing is going to make up for the fact that he's closing Living Blindfully down, and he just knows that we're going to be doubly excited about this new venture that he's going to once we find out what it is. So all is probably not lost, according to Jonathan Mosen.
All right.
Because he knows that he actually has gained more listeners, which is, he didn't know, he really, the success of Living Blindfully has really been more than he ever expected when he launched it 5 years ago. And so, but he said, do not despair that this new venture is going to be really, really good. So the fact that I'm closing down Living Blindfully doesn't mean that all is lost, because it definitely is not, is what he said.
This
All
is
right.
Desi.
All right. Well, I think we're going to, because discussing this isn't quite related to our subject matter. It is a bit in that he does some iOS coverage, but it really is focused on this one individual and one podcast. So I think we are going to leave it at that with Living Blindfully, and certainly if you do wish to tune in for this Apple recap this month, and of course there will be other resources and certainly more to to come. Yes, Jonathan has contributed a lot. He used to produce these iOS without the I series that talked about what was new in iOS and such. So yes, certainly. Hopefully there will be. He is a good technology trainer. So hopefully more excitement to come from him. All right. Well, I think, Desi, if it was going to be on another topic, I think I'll ask you to hold that because we are just at about the time. Can you believe we are just about to begin now our second hour, our 8 p.m. Central Time hour of the iBug Buzz. And so before, now that we are in our second hour, is there anyone who joined us after our first round of introductions who hasn't yet introduced themselves and would like to say hello?
This is Desi in Franklin, Tennessee.
Hey, Desi, welcome.
Thank you.
This is Dee from Southern Illinois.
Hey, Dee, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else who joined since our first hour who would like to say hello?
Sharon from New York.
Hello, welcome to you both.
Helene,
Chicago.
All
Helene
right.
from Woodstock, New York.
All right, hello, welcome.
Cindy from Chicago.
All right, welcome from Chicago.
Cynthia from Houston.
Hey, Cynthia, welcome.
Welcome.
Alice from Alabama.
Hey, Alice, welcome. Anyone else like to say hello? All right, well, welcome to you all. All right, well, now it is that exciting time in our program. It is time for our halftime show, and it is time to find out what exciting movie we're going to be watching this Friday night. And it's time to see if you can guess what it is. So I will now turn this over to Ned for some exciting news. Ned.
Yes, I am here.
All
Good
right,
evening.
what have you got for us, Ned?
Well, before I give you the clues, there are some rules. First, state your name, wait to be recognized. There are 5 clues. You have 1 guess per clue. If you've won within the last 3 weeks, you're ineligible. Please minimize your background noise. We're all unmuted at this time, and we want to encourage everyone to play. And we need the title of the movie, not the actors or the plot or anything like that. So, okay, clue number 1. This week's movie's opening scene takes us to Venice, Italy.
Ooh, who would
This
like to make a
week's
guess?
opening scene, this week's movie's opening scene takes us to Venice, Italy.
All right. Who knows of some good movies set in Italy, in Venice, Italy? Any guesses? And remember, you can unmute to play. All right.
Anybody?
James Bond.
Yes. Who was that?
I didn't catch it.
That's Robert.
Oh, Robert. Yes. Go ahead, Robert.
I don't remember the title. I think it's The Spy Who Loved Me.
The Spy Who Loved Me. The Spy Who Loved Me. Gosh. No. Good guess, but it's not this week's movie.
All right.
This is Helene.
Helene.
Hi, Helene.
Yeah, I don't. I'm trying to remember if it's that takeoff like the Ripley movie. But there's another title with it. Ripley, blah blah. Like in other words,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're trying, Helene.
Yeah.
Hang in there.
I know.
Okay.
And I watched it too. I've seen it. It's a good movie. Anyway, I guess I'll forfeit and let somebody else get the real title. Okay. I gave you a good clue, everyone. Get in there.
This is Derek.
Derek, yes.
Is it the Italian Job?
The Italian Job. The well, Venice. Let's see, Venice. Venice is in Italy. The Italian Job. Yeah, we're getting close. Ding, 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 ding.
Wow.
Wow.
Congratulations,
Yes.
Derek.
On the
Wow.
first clue, the
Clue.
Italian Job from 2003, starring Charlize Theron, Mark Wahlberg, Seth Green, Edward Norton, Donald Sutherland, rated PG-13, action movie, runs 1 hour and 51 minutes. Wow. And what do we have? What do we have for you? We have a 2002 Mini Cooper in IBUG colors, because in the film there is a car chase with Mini Coopers navigating tight spaces and crowded streets. So you get a Mini Cooper.
Hallelujah.
Let me know when you're on the road, Derek.
Yeah, because I won't be.
That's right.
So
Ned,
Derek,
it sounds like you have a cold. I hope you're feeling better.
yeah, my allergies are acting up.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
thanks
Good
for
job.
joining us to give us the movie clue
Stepping up.
too.
Wow,
And
that was
hope
quick.
it was. My goodness, that might have just been the quickest one yet. So great job, Derek.
Thank you.
Enjoy your IBUG colored Mini Cooper.
This is Carrie.
Very good. Well, would you like to say for this little segment at least, would you like to give us a good night, Ned, there, and hope you feel better?
Yes, good night. Good night. Good night. Thank you all.
Good night.
Thank you. All
Good
right.
night, John boy, if your name isn't John.
All right.
This is Terry.
Go ahead, Terry.
What was the name of the movie? I was busy giving Paul a hard time about his
It's
time
called
of the Apple thing.
yes. No, it is called The Italian Job. So,
okay.
yes, indeed. And it involves a car chase with Mini Coopers.
Yes,
So,
and this is the 2003 film, which is a remake of the 1969 film with the same title.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, that was one of the other clues that we didn't get to. And another clue is that one of the lines in it is, "You're only supposed to blow the bloody door off."
goodness. Wow. Well, join us on Friday for some heart-pounding action there, it sounds like. For the Italian Job. All right. Very good. So now it is time for our IBUG Byte, our exciting little demo of an iOS feature. And this is one that I had actually very much forgotten about, but it is one that, given some of the sounds that have been part of my other iBug Byte segments, it is something that I appreciate and will use. And I actually was reminded of this in an article in a tech publication about cool things that you probably didn't know your iPhone could do. And so this feature is a great example of how a feature that was designed for accessibility benefits everyone. So with that little cliffhanger, Brad, take it away.
All righty, here we go. I'm going to mute everybody. And let's see here.
There's a feature built right into iOS that enables you to play one of several soothing background sounds, whether you are just listening to voiceover reading something or whether you are playing audio from another app like music or Audible or Voice Stream Reader, any number of apps that play other audio. This is a feature that was originally introduced as an accessibility feature for those with tinnitus, which is persistent ringing in one or both ears. This feature is intended to help those with tinnitus to mask that noise. But of course, as with any accessibility feature, we generally find that it benefits everyone. And so, of course, background sound playback is useful for anyone if they want to focus or rest or any number of scenarios. You can configure this feature to be present in your control center so that it is easily accessed, and it is also available in settings. More specifically, to add it to your control center, you don't use the general control center screen in settings. Instead, you go to settings, accessibility, and then in the hearing section of the accessibility screen, there is a hearing control center screen. That screen works like the general control center screen, but it contains options pertaining to hearing accessibility, and one of those is background sounds. The settings for this feature, where it can also be turned on and off, are in settings, accessibility, and again in the hearing section under audio visual, and then background sounds. But the control center option, if enabled for this feature, also has a shortcut to that same settings screen from within audio visual. We will open this feature initially from the control center and look at the related settings from there. So to begin, I'm going to go to the control center.
Control center, airplane mode, switch button, off.
If I move to the bottom of my control center, because this item is currently close to the bottom of mine, and then flick to the left a few times with one finger to get to
hearing devices, headphone level OK button,
and double tap
headphone level OK.
And after listing out all of the various devices which can play sound, we're going to keep flicking to the right until we hear
background sounds button.
Background sounds.
Actions available.
And that is what we want. This item says that actions are available, and those actions include turning on the feature right by using the actions rotor, and also the show more options item if this happens to be collapsed for you. So if you, as you're flicking to the right, if you don't hear some of these options that I have, just go back to that background sound, flick up or down until you get to the show more options item on the actions rotor, and double tap to expand this background sounds area. Since mine is expanded, you don't receive any notification on whether it's collapsed or expanded, but you can easily tell whether if you flick to the right there are options pertaining to it or not. I am going to flick to the right and let's see what we have.
Background sounds, switch button, off.
So if I double tap here, I will turn on the last selected background sound. I'm going to do that.
On.
And here, isn't that soothing? Is a nice, gentle stream. And as you will be able to tell shortly, as I'm flicking to the right, you will hear that voiceover either won't duck or just may very slightly duck. The audio ducking setting isn't used here with this setting because the whole purpose of this setting is to mask noise. So just so you can hear that a little, and then I will turn it off as we explore the settings, but I'm just going to flick to the right so you can hear how this sounds with voiceover running.
Stream volume, 20, adjustable, sounds, heading. Balanced noise, button, bright noise, dark noise, ocean, rain, selected, stream, background sound settings, button, background sounds, switch button, on, off.
and I flicked back to the left and turned it off. But that gave you an idea of the various items that are available with the background sound setting. The following setting, if I kept flicking to the right after background sound settings, is the lag listen, and that does not pertain to this feature. So if I turn it back on and then just go through the sounds to show you quick samples of what they sound like.
On. Stream volume. Sounds. Heading. Balanced noise. Button. Balanced noise. Bright noise. Bright noise. Dark noise. Button. Dark noise. Ocean. Button. Ocean. Dark. Rain. Button. Rain. Dark ocean. Stream. Button. Stream.
And we're back to stream.
Background sounds. Background sound off.
When I switched sounds, I did find that I needed to touch the center of the screen to get VoiceOver to refocus, and then I was able to flick to the left and right again to navigate this area of the control center. The volume control, if we flick to the right,
Stream volume 20. Adjustable.
is a standard slider. If you flick up and down, it will adjust in 10% increments. And I found, again, because the ducking doesn't work in this feature by design, the ducking setting isn't respected of VoiceOver, I found that keeping it low is very helpful to be able to hear VoiceOver as well. This feature by default will continue this background sound even if other media is playing. So for example, if I turn it back on, and then if I go into, say, Voice Stream Reader and begin to read a book.
Voice Stream Reader. Play button. They shouted and laughed and wiped their mouths on their sleeves. Their pigtails flew. Their caps fell off.
As you could hear, the stream is continuing even when Voice Stream Reader is running and reading. I'll go back into Control Center to turn that off.
Background sounds. Switch button. On. Off.
Whether you want this background sound to be available when other media is playing and how loud it is in that situation is something that you can set. So we'll take a quick look at the settings relating to this feature. I will keep flicking to the right until we get to the background sound settings button.
Background sound settings button.
And double tap.
Audio and visual. Back button.
We'll just flick to the right.
Background sounds. Heading. Background sounds. Switch button. Off.
Continuing to flick to the right.
Plays background sounds to mask unwanted environmental noise. These sounds can minimize distractions and help you to focus, calm, or rest. Sound. Stream button.
This is allowing us to choose from the same sounds that we heard before.
Stream volume 20. Use when media is playing. Switch button. On.
And here is the setting that I just referred to. So what we just flicked past was the same volume control, the master volume control for the background sound, the one that we saw in Control Center. But now here's a separate volume control that's going to come up that pertains to media. So if now this setting of use when media is playing, if that is turned off, the background sound would stop when music or an audiobook app or a text-to-speech reading app, any other kind of media that takes over the audio would be in use. But because it is on, as you saw, the sound continued.
Volume with media 20. Adjustable.
You can set the volume separately with the media.
Play sample button.
And this will show you a sample of what media will sound like with your selected volume of background sound so that you can set this the way you would like.
Stop sounds when locked. Switch button off. When enabled, background sounds will stop when iPhone is locked.
And that's pretty self-explanatory. You can customize whether that will happen or not. Of course, when it is off, even when your iPhone is locked, the background sound will continue. That is the end of this setting, and I hope you enjoy using your iPhone to play some soothing background sounds.
All right. Thank you, Brad. Does anyone have any questions? That stream sound must have been so soothing, so as to have no questions at the moment. All right. Well,
This is Terry.
all right. Go ahead, Terry.
So this feature, which I had no idea about, is this a separate what is that? Totally
Sound
separate.
recognition.
Oh,
no. A totally separate mode from the, oh shoot, I can't think of the name of the normal one that you said that you, I'm not going to be able to ask my question right till I think of the right term, so I'll go ahead and move on here.
All right, no worries. I wonder if maybe you were referring to like in the bedtime in the alarms app, there are some sounds, and this is a completely separate feature from that. So, all right, well, if you're able to think of the term you're looking for, do jump back in. All right, who did I hear? Did I hear Shri? Yes, go ahead.
So Maria, do you know when this thing is turned on, does the Hey SIRI or SIR, does that get disabled?
Oh, I do not know that, as I don't tend to use that feature. So that is a good, if you try it and find out, do let us know. Or does anyone else know who uses SIRI a bit more? And to Terry, to your point about having no idea, that's exactly, I think I either didn't know about it or completely forgot about it. So to that point about that title of the article about things you probably didn't know that your iPhone, things you probably didn't know it could do, it was very fitting to include that.
Terry.
All right, go ahead, Terry.
The term I was trying to think of was the control center. So is this sound because the hearing control center is a totally different control center, does that mean that when you want to invoke it so you can get to it immediately, you still have to go to the hearing control center versus the standard one? Or do you actually put it in the standard control center?
Right. So yes. So it's what I did was in the standard control center, I added the hearing devices. So from that standard control center screen, I added the hearing devices feature. And then from within the hearing control center screen, that is the one that is in settings, accessibility, and in the hearing section, the hearing control center, then from there, I turned on this background sounds so that the background sounds option would appear within the hearing devices section of the standard control center. I hope that makes sense.
Terry?
A little layered. Yes, go ahead, Terry.
So in effect, it's a two-step process and not just a one. First you have to put the hearing devices on the regular control center, so that's an option in there, and then you can evoke these background sounds feature.
Yes,
so it's like a two-step sort of a thing you have to do.
It is like a two-step. Yeah, exactly. So like in the regular control center, there's something that's called hearing, and that's what this is. And then once you add that in, then yes, you can go into that hearing control center, right, to custom. So it's all from the standard control center, but like you said, it's a two-step. You have to select the hearing first. It'll say hearing devices, and then it'll be in there in that hearing device.
I got it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes, great question. All right.
Brian?
This is Jody.
All right, I think I heard Brian first.
Just a quick question. If you have background on like that and you get a phone call, will it still keep going?
Oh, that is an excellent question. I can't say I've had it on in that scenario. I do not know. That's actually a really good question. So if you try it and and find out, do let us know, or I will try. And I can't say it's one of those things, I haven't planned out a phone call to to try it out. I've more used it as I described, like with
This is
a
Brad.
voice stream or some such reading. So, yes, Brad, is that an answer to this
Yeah.
question? Yes, go ahead.
Well, first of all, the hearing devices thing you're talking about, if you have made for iPhone hearing devices connected to your iPhone, the reason you put this in the control center, because this is where you would be able to control certain things on your hearing aids, volume, separate, stereo separation, bass, treble, things of that nature. And that has been there for a long time. And when this background sounds thing came along, they added a control to turn it on in there, because it is under accessibility under hearing devices. It's a control in there, and this saves you having to open settings, go from one layer to another, accessibility, hearing, and all that. So it's nice to have it that you're able to put that in the control center so that you can get to your hearing aid controls quickly. And this is just something they added to it. As far as does the sound continue when the phone rings? No, it does not. It goes away.
All right. Thank you, Brad. Yes, I did wonder about that, because it's like, if it's meant to mask tinnitus, you still have tinnitus going on, even when you're on a phone call. So I wasn't sure. So.
Also, I have tinnitus. I don't find this helps at all.
Yeah, I have.
It's just more distraction is all it is. I don't know.
Yeah, it's very individual. Yeah, I have some mild tinnitus as well, and I've only just used this when there have been times when I've thought, like, if I'm listening to some nice music, like, oh, some nature accompaniment would be nice, and then I can, but thank you for that. All right, so no, Brian. All right. I think I heard Jody first, and then we'll come back to you.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, and you answered my question about how to add it to the control center. But thank you. This is really cool. I'm going to tell my daughter about it too.
Perfect. Awesome. All right. Brian, I think you'd had a follow-up.
Yeah, it was just basically thanks, Brad, for letting me know, because I didn't know about this, but I have tinnitus and I was going to use it.
Well, everybody's different.
Yeah, your
you might
mileage may
like
vary.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might. I just find it, I don't know. It's like playing, all kinds of little background things you can play through your A-Lady. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
You might like it. You might want to go to sleep with it playing on your iPhone and listen to a waterfall or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and that's even the description and the settings said, the background, because when you think of like, apps like Nature Space and things like that are there to play, nature sounds, and they would, stop with any kind of music, whereas this one can continue with other media. But it's kind of, it can be a similar concept of helping you to sleep or to rest or to focus or, whatever it is. So yeah, there are benefits beyond the accessibility, the initial thought of it.
This is Jody again.
All right, go ahead, Jody.
I'm glad I'm not the only one with tinnitus. Sometimes you think you're going to go crazy. Thank you.
Yeah, well, what are there, 4 of us now? So this call, go ahead, Pete.
Pete has tinnitus too,
Oh,
but I think the idea with this affecting your tinnitus is that it might kind of block out some of the ringing in your ears because of the frequency matchups. Perhaps a white noise or a dark noise or one of those, background things kind of masks the tinnitus. I don't think it was intended to be a calming thing like your background nature sounds would.
Oh, absolutely. And that's a good, and that's why it's in the accessibility settings, because that is what it was designed to do. Yeah.
Right.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
All right. Thank you. All right. Any other last questions on this IBUG Byte?
This is John from Canada.
All right, go ahead, John.
So, correct, like, I'll be glad to be corrected if I'm wrong, but I think when I was listening to Living Blindfoldly, like, Jonathan Mosen had a different use case scenario for this feature, because he mentioned that if you have, like, Bluetooth connected devices that go to sleep, like headphones for certain apps, like, he described a scenario in which he uses it so that he'll use it so that your headphones won't go to sleep, and then like when you're trying to listen to voiceover won't get cut off. So I think he's mentioned it in some of his podcasts, but if I'm wrong, I do apologize.
All right. Well, that is certainly, I mean, that would seem to make sense that it would keep the headphones, maybe like have it on either a very low volume or even a volume 0, and then you're not hearing it, but it's in essence, because it's its own independent volume, it's playing something, and then that would prevent the potential cutoff. So, all right. Well, very good. Again, this concept of this accessibility feature just going beyond even what it was intended to do. All right. Very good. All right. Well, thank you all. I hope you enjoyed that, and we will now return to our regularly scheduled questions of the evening. So, who would like to ask the next question?
Linda.
Go ahead, Linda.
I just caught the tail end of this a couple of weeks ago, but in an email, how do you find oh, it's a link, but what's it called? It's a attachment. How do you find it? How do you go to it?
All right. Who would like to answer that question? How to find attachments?
This is John from Canada.
All right, go ahead, John.
So my favorite way is when you're somewhere in the message body of the email, like I turn my rotor to buttons, and then when I flick up or down, then it maybe about 99% of the time it takes me to the attachment. It'll announce what the attachment is, and like I think it's in some cases it explains how big the file size of the attachment is, and then it'll say button, so you can one finger double tap. I prefer this because instead of flicking left and right a million times, like I can just go to this rotor feature and find it a little more easily for my preference.
All right.
This is Shri.
Very good. All right, go ahead, Shri.
I use on the rotor form control and then flick up or down, and most likely in about 3 flicks it'll reach the attachment.
This is Pete.
Go ahead, Pete.
My understanding is, and those are two good ways, by the way. My understanding is that the attachment is generally always at the bottom of the body of your email. So I just kind of use my 3-finger swipe up to go to the bottom of the body once you've opened the email. Either that or go to the bottom with your 4-finger single touch at the bottom of your screen, and then flick to the left until you get out of those toolbar controls at the bottom. And then the very bottom element in the body of the email should be your attachment, and then you just single finger double tap to either to download it or to open it.
All right, very good. Well, there you have 3 ways, Linda. That's wonderful about these devices. There are so many different ways of doing things. So hopefully one of those will be easy for you to do there and to access your attachments. So very good. Who would like
Thanks,
to ask?
everybody.
Yes, absolutely. All right, who'd like to ask the next question? All right, anyone who hasn't asked a question before? All right, or if you have asked one and have another question.
Sharon?
All right, go ahead, Sharon.
Someone told me, and they actually kind of showed me, but I just tried to do it myself tonight, and it didn't work. That if you're in a text and it includes a photo, there's something you can click on the bottom where the photo will be described. I think the word, I think she said it says something like, I don't know, describe with a era, I guess, or be my eyes. Do you know, anyone have any idea what I'm talking about?
All right. Who would like to talk about this? Sharing the photos to AI services.
No. It's having I think it's era. I think somebody or be my eyes tell you what the photo is of. in
Yes,
its apps.
correct, right. So these are AI. So these
Oh,
both
right.
Ira and
Sorry.
Be My AI, yep, and Be My
Yeah.
Eyes. They both are using artificial intelligence to
Right.
describe. Yes. So I think
Sorry,
you're
my
asking.
mistake.
Oh no, you're good. So I think that's what your question is of how to do that, right?
Yes,
All
exactly
right.
right.
All right, very good. Who would like to talk about how to do this? Who would like to answer this question? All right. Well, you do have to have the apps installed, first of all, just to be clear. So these are third-party apps that aren't built in to your phone. So you have to install. So Ira in the case of they call it Access AI, and then Be My Eyes has their feature called Be My AI. And
Okay.
then what you do once you have them installed, and in both cases you do have to log in using like creating an account if you don't have one, and you can both of the AI aspects of these services are both free. So then you would open your image, so you would you tap, on your actual picture there, and you'd open it, and there would be a share option there in the bottom, and you could select share, and then that would open up once you double tap like a standard iOS share sheet. And then if you don't see it right there on the screen, these actions of like describe with Be My AI, or I forget what it's actually called. Is it both share or describe with Access AI? I forget what the actual, if the wording is like share to or describe with or what have you, or send to. But if you don't see references to those actions, there's an edit actions item way at the bottom of that share sheet that you might have to click on. You might have to select that, double tap it, and then add those. You'll see all the different possible actions, and add those there to your actions. But assuming that once they're there, if they're already there, or if not, once you've added them, you'll see those actions there that say whatever it is. I'm gonna use describe with as an example, so it might be slightly different, but say it's describe with Access AI or describe with Be My AI, and then you would double tap on that action, and then that would send the picture to the service that you selected. And it should tell you right away what the image is, and then you can ask follow-up questions and such.
Thank you. That's great. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. Have fun playing with the AI.
Thank you.
All right. Very good. Who'd like to ask the next question? All right. Anyone with a question? Whether you've asked one before or not. And no silly questions.
This is
We're all
Dee.
learning. Yes, Dee, go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to date myself when I ask this question. Because when I get up in the morning, I like to kind of hear what's happened since the day before. So I'll ask Siri. I'll say something like, "Hey Siri, play CNN News." And she'll pop up and she'll say, I can't do this right now. There's something wrong with your settings in your Apple Music app. So then I'll just say to her, "Hey Siri, play Fox News." And she'll kick Fox News on for me. And then later I'll go back and tell her play CNN News, and she'll do it. So I looked in my music app and I don't see anything out of line. And I'm just wondering if this is just a quirk or something going on. It just started doing this in the last couple of weeks.
All right. Any Siri users have any experiences with this kind of inconsistency? Go ahead, Jody.
Yeah, I find that when, I will say, play WABC, and it seems to think that that's a song that it's supposed to be retrieving from music.
Mm-hmm.
And, if I ask again, it might give it to me. Or if I just say, now I'll just say play WABC radio. So that seems to clear. So you might say play CNN News, and that might work, because when you just say play, it thinks you want to play music.
This is John in Austin.
All right, go ahead, John.
Um, I think it may be a quirk because I listen to NPR for the little brief news they have, and I will say, uh, Creature play the latest top news. And I would say Ada does exactly what you described, and I have to repeat, and eventually it seems to get it right. So I put it in the quirk column.
All right. Thank you for that. I don't use this myself, but I do wonder if perhaps you might want to try if you have the certain app installed. I wonder if you say, play CNN on TuneIn or play, like open NPR and play whatever, or, play NPR, play Up First on, your podcast app, whatever it is, something like that. I wonder if that might bypass some of it, so that she's not having to do as much work to try and figure out maybe incorrectly where you're trying to, the source of what you're trying to play.
This is Dee.
All right, go ahead, Dee.
Yeah, she used to not have any problem doing that.
Aha. Well, she is always being updated in the cloud, so it is very possible. And now, especially with, some of this upcoming work with the Apple Intelligence integration, I'm sure there's a lot going on with the Iris, or however we might want to call her, or it, behind the scenes. So not surprising, I suppose, that there are these quirks. All right. Very good. Who would like to ask the next question?
Bridget.
Bridget, go ahead.
Yes, when my phone is trying to update overnight, should I have it unplugged?
All right. So anyone thoughts on this? Does it matter if your phone is plugged in? Can it be unplugged?
This is Jody.
Or should I have it unplugged?
All right. Go ahead, Jody.
Yeah, I always plug it in when I want to do an update, and your battery level has to be of a higher level too for it in order for it to do it. I think it will only update if it's plugged in. At least that's the way it used to work.
Okay, well let me. Ooh, Lord.
Yeah, we can hear you.
My phone for the last 3 days, when I wake up and I go touch my phone to see, check my blood level, but then it say the phone is trying to update. It says probably the update, but I be halfway asleep. And then I tried to maybe go left, scroll left or right, but it just say try again later. So I tap that and it say later. And then the same thing been happening the last 2-3 nights. So I'm saying, how do I make it update?
All right. And just to be clear, this is whether your phone is plugged in or not, you're saying?
It's plugged in.
Oh, it is plugged in. Okay. All right. And your battery level, from what you can tell, is it a higher, it's like above 50% or something like that?
Yes.
All right. So then who would like to answer this question about how to manually update?
This is Dee.
All right, go ahead, Dee.
Okay, you just go into settings and go to update, and you flick right, and it will tell you if there is an update available. And if there is, you tap that, and it will start off, and it might ask you to put in your identification number, and then it will say something to the effect the update is being verified, and it'll go through that, and then it will eventually update it, and then you may have to hit install after it gets in there.
This is Jody again.
All right. Yep. 1 second there. Okay, I think I heard Jody first.
Yeah, you don't even have to put in a verification number. What you want to do is you want to go to settings, and then you want to go to general, and then you want to go to update. And actually, when you get that message on your screen that says later, you can tap on that, and that will probably bring up your update page. directly. And one of the choices on that page, you can swipe to the right and it might even say update now.
All right.
Oh,
All right.
thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bridget. Go ahead.
Cynthia here as well.
Yes, go ahead, Cynthia. Yep.
I've had that problem before, and what I've found is the storage. I have too much on my phone, so I have to delete things because some of these programs are so big. They don't seem to install on top of it. They require more space, and so sometimes I can't update because I don't have enough storage. That's what I've found. So that's happened to me quite a bit.
All right, thank you for that. That is definitely a good thought. And do you recall in terms of the storage, where did you go just to complete this to manage it?
There is a place for storage. I can't remember exactly where it is.
Sure, no worries. So you should be able to go into that in settings and then under general, and then in the about section, I believe it is, that there is you'll see in there about the actual storage, just so that like Bridget, you could verify if this is potentially an issue for you. It'll show you in that about section how much of it is available, and then in order, I am not remembering either. I know there's an place in iCloud to manage the storage, but I'm not recalling if I click on this about section. No, that is not doing it either. Does anyone know offhand where the storage is managed? Otherwise,
This is Brad.
have to be homework. Yes, go ahead, Brad.
Yeah, it's not iCloud. It's on your device. So it's settings, general, and it's not in about. I believe you swipe on down and you'll see manage storage.
All right.
And they're arranged with the ones that take the most storage are on the top of the list. And so you might want to find something that's up there that you never use. You might look at it and find that your podcast app has automatically downloaded a gazillion podcasts that you didn't even know were there, and they're all taking up space. So you might go through the podcast app and get rid of there's all kinds of things you might be able to do. But yes, what it does is when you do an update, it downloads an update installer, and that can take up a bunch of space. Then it does the update, and then it deletes that installer that it downloaded. But you've got to have room to download that installer, or it won't be able to do the update.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm seeing there in general, I believe there's an option there called iPhone storage. So
That's it.
Yes, so that is the one.
Because it's
And
on
yes,
your device.
Yes, correct. And you go down below at first so again in settings, and then general, and then iPhone storage. And initially you'll see again that it'll tell you how much is used, and then you'll see it broken down by like how much are your applications using, how much is music using, mail, books, messages, and so on, like different categories, how much they're using. But then there's a heading, and you can also it'll give you some recommendations for managing your storage, that you can select those buttons. But then if you keep going down by heading or just keep clicking to the right, then there is this place that says sorting, and then by, as Brad said, by size by default. So it's a button so you can sort it in different ways. And then it'll show you these apps and when they were last used and how much each is taking up. And then, yes, you are able to, if you select one of those buttons, you can select, there are different buttons to offload the app, to delete the app, so there are these different items here to manage the storage. So that is where you would manage that. So, all
This is
right,
Liz, Jody.
good. Liz, I believe.
Uh-huh.
Yes, go ahead,
Yes.
Liz.
There is an option also there to offload unused apps. I forget what it's called now, and I'm not on my phone, so I can't find it. But you can offload any apps that you haven't used within a specific time period, and they don't actually delete them. They just put them back up in the cloud, and you can bring them back whenever you want to. So any apps you haven't used in a long time, any docs, etc., it will automatically select those for you. And then the app will show on your screen. And then when you flip to it, it'll have the little cloud with the arrow down thing on it saying that you need to re-download it.
Ah, okay. Yes.
Clicking on it.
Yes, it'll say like in iCloud, right? And then you need to
Right.
click on that. Yes. All right.
Yeah, this is Jody.
Very good. All right, go ahead, Jody.
Yeah, I just want to say for Bridget, this all sounds kind of complicated, but for what you want to do, you might just try doing the update and see if it works, because chances are Apple is just, they don't update everybody at the same time, that you kind of, it's regional, and you take turns on updates. So I just did mine this morning, and I did it the way I described, where I brought it up and I said update now when it was plugged in. So don't worry about all your storage unless you're not able to do the update.
All right.
All right. Thank you guys so much
Sure.
for all the information.
Absolutely. All right. Good luck, Bridget. Hopefully you'll be able to get that update working. All right.
Thank you.
Yes. You're very welcome. And especially with we are anticipating probably in a few weeks here before end of month iOS 18. So you all will hopefully be doing quite a large update very soon. All right. Who would like to ask the next question? All right. And our last, we do have some time for one or two more questions. Who would like to ask a question? Anyone who hasn't asked before, or even if you have either a question or a comment, if you
This is
have.
John from Canada.
All right, go ahead, John.
So it's not really a question, but a comment. I think this stuff gets confusing because there are different things with automatic features, like you can update your apps automatically, your iOS, your iCloud backup. And so I think that's why it gets confusing, because like you can have these all set up to update automatically, or you can do them manually. So I think that's why it can get confusing.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a very good point. Yeah, and kind of figuring out, like, this question had to do with iOS itself updating, but yes, as you said, there are these different, you have a lot of granular control as to what exactly updates automatically. And some you may want to have on, like and some not. Like, for example, with app updates, sometimes, updates cause some accessibility issues temporarily. So some people like to have that off so that they can then manually update. And then, others have it on and such. Or, again, it might be off for one type of update, like your, apps or iOS, what have you. And then another one, the backups you might want to automatically back up. So yes, you have a lot of control over that. And that is a good point. All right. Who would like to ask the next question or make the next comment?
This is John.
Yes, go ahead, John.
I'd like to pick up on what you just said, Maria.
Yes.
And that is with the update 18 coming out, what advice do experienced people have as to whether that should be, whether you should delay your download until people get a chance to sort of test it out?
Sure. So at this point, that is in beta. So it's hard to say right now. At this point, there may still be some releases. There might be what's called the Gold Master, which is typically the same release that will go out to the public. That still may be forthcoming. So I would wait until the Apple Vis relaunch that is supposed to happen on the 9th of September. They have said that they will be posting some articles on not only what's new from a voiceover perspective, but I believe they did also mention a posting about some bugs. Again, that would be current as of that moment, right? Because iOS itself won't be released until, a couple of weeks typically is the timeline after those events. But typically by that point, the release that's gone out to the beta testers is that Gold Master, is that same one that's going to be released to the public as the initial iOS release. So I would wait until the post comes out on that to tell for sure. Go ahead, Herbie.
So obviously the announcement will be made next week. The update will be released to the public a few days later. I will tell you from my own experiences running the beta that this has been a pretty stable one. The big difference, of course, with VoiceOver that I notice is with Braille screen input, but I won't go into details on that right now, though you can read about it. Everything with the public and developer betas is, out there now. Some minor things with audio ducking you may encounter, but for me at least, I've not encountered any showstoppers from updating from iOS 17 to 18 myself. A few minor differences. And I won't go into details now because I don't need to, but I will just say that from my own experiences and from a lot of others too, from what I've seen, in fact, it made me feel confident enough to try the beta a little bit earlier than I normally did in the cycle because everybody was ranting and raving about how stable it was this year. So I think that even for the end user, that's gonna be the case.
All right.
And the one thing I do want to mention though is two things. One, if you're looking for the new Siri, that's going to depend on two things. One, the iPhone model you have. And two, not all the new things with Siri have been released yet. So you won't necessarily be getting them right away. So just, there's good reasons to update, but, I don't want you to get too excited about, new and improved Siri. Yes, it's coming. And I think iPhone 15 users at least will maybe do have some differences that I don't get like with my 13, but I just want to put the brakes on any enthusiasm. Just don't expect major changes right away.
All right. Thank you for
This is
that.
Shri.
Go ahead, Shri.
My opinion is, if you don't feel comfortable, it's perfectly fine to wait. There's no rush that, some of us, we're into this stuff, so we'll install it right away. But if, you're not feeling, you don't have the lovey-dovey feeling, just wait a couple of weeks. You'll know by then if there's some major issues that impacts maybe voiceover that hasn't been figured out yet. So, there's absolutely no rush for you to install it right away.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
This is John.
All right. Yes, go ahead, John.
So just to add on to what Shri was saying, that if you're someone who is comfortable with your iOS and you don't want to dive in right away, typically Apple will still provide iOS updates to the older iOSs. In fact, iOS 16 does like partial security updates. I think the most recent one was 16.7.10. So if security is an issue, you will receive updates, and then if you stop getting updates for the older iOSs, you can go to the newer ones. So that shouldn't be an issue. But if you are concerned about adjusting to the new features and the new settings, then yeah, you can hold off and learn about them and then decide at a later date to update when you're comfortable exploring those new features.
All right. Very good. Thank you for that. So yes, definitely lots of a couple of different options there and really no pressure to do anything. It's going to be it would be quite a while before Apple, forced you potentially to upgrade or some such. So yes, absolutely staying with what you're comfortable with is a good way to go. All
Thank you.
right. Yes, very good. All right. In our last couple of minutes, anyone have another quick question or comment?
This is Shri.
Go ahead, Shri.
Have we heard, obviously we heard we mentioned a few things under accessibility, but have we really heard a lot of things that are coming within accessibility?
All right. Anyone have any quick comments on that? All right.
This is Herbie.
Yes, go ahead, Herbie.
So with accessibility, I think there's one or two things with hearing. There was a couple minor things with voiceover that really haven't grabbed my attention. For me, the big one has definitely been Braille screen input. One thing, and it's not really an accessibility feature, but it's different now with iOS 18, is the way settings look. So it used to be that, well, you all know how your settings look. You go to it, you have like things like a lot of your apps mixed in with the other settings, like you might have sounds and phone and all that. Well, now all your apps are going to be under one category at the very bottom under an apps button, and all your settings are going to be in the main part of the screen for like sounds, general, all that type of thing. I don't know if I'd call that an accessibility thing or not, but it's definitely a major difference.
This is Shri.
Yep.
All right. Wait, I'm sorry, Herbie. Were you finished or?
Yes, I'm done.
Oh, okay. All right, then go ahead, Shri.
I was going to say they did bring up accessibility way up on the top now, so it's much easier to get to than before. So I think it's like right next to general now, but it's way up on the top.
Closer to the. Yes.
All right. And we will certainly be hearing more very soon.
Next week.
From that September 9th, yes, Apple Viz article as well, and certainly, yes, from Apple themselves, and once more people get, I'm sure there will be some podcasts as well, reviewing the new features, and of course, on iBug here, we'll be talking about them as well. So with that, thank you all so much. I'd like to remind you very briefly about our upcoming events for this week. We've got a very busy week coming up. Tomorrow, we have got our mini buzz, so like this, but for an hour, and that is at 5 p.m. Central Time. And then on Thursday, we've got our Trekkie Talk, again, Star Trek, the Deep Space Nine Season 2, Episodes 1 and 2, at 8 p.m. Central. On Saturday, we've got iBug Unplugged, talking about your embarrassing moments, again at 8 p.m. Central. And then Sunday, come to our cafe for a thorough introduction to voiceover, and that is at 4 p.m. Central. So thank you all for your great questions and your great participation, and we hope you have a great, and do stay after as well. Remember for the after buzz segment. So with that, thank you, and hope you all have a great night.
Thank you, Maria.